Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon, crypto, and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. Now, we are joined by Neil, 10th Man, is that Refracted Curvature or is it Righteous Force? Righteous Force, Brian's Logic, and a whole bunch of people in Discord, so welcome one and all.
Morning. What a pre-show,
I am in pain here.
So we were privileged to have Adam broadcasting live from the streets of Nottingham, where he was joined by Jem Panda, telling us how silly the housekeeping questions about the claim of a sphere Earth were. So let's go through some of those now. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge? That's a horizon, formerly known as Earth curve, claimed to be bending or not bending by Jem Panda in the pre-show.
No evidence. It's mathematical for their model, but no. It's beyond its geometric limitations, i.e. Black Swan.
A la the Black Swan, any evidence of the R value, aka Earth radius?
Well, if you had that, you would have curvature where it's supposed to be based on 3959. So no, that one's out too.
Joined by Arwin. How you doing, Arwin?
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good to have you. Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety, Arwin? Or anybody else for that matter?
Listen, enough with the malformed questions.
Malformed questions about claims of the globe Earth having axial rotation?
well, Nathan, they're denying drift these days.
Well, the globes claim to have Coriolis drift, and we don't see it. When we point out that we don't see it, they tell us why we don't see it, because they don't believe it either.
The universe is spinning, not Earth.
Well, Earth's claim to have Coriolis deflection at 15 degrees an hour, and we just don't see it. We get plenty of reasons why we don't see it.
Yeah, but they got it turned around because the Earth is actually stationary and the universe is turning around. It's just kind of hard to imagine for everybody, but the theory of relativity backs it up somehow.
Well, it's interesting you say that, Arvin, because in celestial navigation, the celestial sphere model, which predates Galileo, and Copernicus, assumes that the Earth is stationary and the luminaries are moving, and they still use that today and put Earth at the center, not the sun. Interesting how they have to go pre-Copernican.
Not a scientific theory also, Arwin, as you labelled it such. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Well, first you got to know what it is. And that doesn't mean describe what it's like. What is it actually?
In physical terms, there isn't anything. There's no gravity in physical reality. There's only a bending of a conceptual medium known as pseudo-Riemannian force spacetime, a fourth-dimensional fabric that doesn't exist beyond mathematics. So it isn't physically anything, Arwin.
Oh, did you hear, by the way, that about Craig on Flatzoid? Now he's involved space-time with terrestrial refraction.
Who was it that called that? Somebody called that. I need to give someone props.
It was Flatzoid.
Was it? No, it was prior to Flatzoid. Somebody on the show, someone on the panel regularly, said that would happen. I gotta remember it was. If they were here, they would have piped up already. Somebody called that. I don't know who, but they're going to watch this and go, I called that. Someone will intertwine it with space-time. You watch. Refraction will get intertwined with space-time.
I called it.
Who called it?
I called it, Nathan.
Was it you? Was it you, Paul?
Yeah, it was Paul. Yeah, I called it.
Kudos.
Long time ago.
Yeah, I remember it. My long-term memory is exceptional. I do remember it. I vaguely remember it being you as well. So yes, it does bring a smile to my face. Because, yeah, you said it would happen. And there it is, right there, on his own,
Good
away
call,
from the
Paul.
Western world rhetoric, calling it out right now. We called it a long time ago. But nice that Flatzoid's put it on video with his hand not being where it's supposed to be in fabric of space-time, presumably interwoven into that with terrestrial refraction at the forefront of the description. Excellent stuff.
I'll post the link in chat.
I already saw it. But yeah, if you want to post a link, that'd be great. Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
It seems very close. But
No,
maybe
it
that's
doesn't.
just the heat.
It seems higher in the sky. It doesn't seem any closer than it ever does ever.
I don't know, man, but it's like a relative distance. It's not an actual distance, and it just seems closer. So you can't say I'm wrong.
Yeah, I can. Relative to what? In the sky when there's nothing else around it except for some clouds, which it's definitely beyond.
Relative to the impression it makes on me.
No. Okay, that's not good enough, no. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Before you leave the sun point, there is only an angular size measurement of the sun. There is no known location or distance or size of the sun. You can't measure its actual size because we don't know where it is or what it is.
Well, in
All
the
we
words
have
of
is an angular size.
in the words of a illustrious, sexy Irish womanizer, they can't have that angular size in the globe Earth model.
No, but what they can do is take the angular size of the sun from a flat plane, from a flat Earth, and then assert that the sun is a certain size and distance that matches that angular size. And they can do the same then with everything else.
Hey, Brian, how come they say it's 400 times than the moon and give it a distance then?
Well, it's just a distance. It's like they just gave it the arbitrary distance based on the sun's and the moon's angular sizes, the average angular size of the sun and moon. They just gave arbitrary distances and sizes that match the sun being 400 times the size of the moon. It's probably 400.5. That's what I reckon. But that's what they do. So all they have, the whole backbone of the heliocentric model, is flat Earth elevation angles to Polaris being back engineered into a radius, and the angular size of the sun being back engineered into a solar system. The whole thing is built on those two things. So do we have any evidence of the distance to the sun? No way. We have an angular size, and that means nothing if you don't know any more than that. Thank you.
Evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth.
Yeah, man, I can feel it. It's so hot.
You can feel the core.
Yeah, man, it's hot to the core.
That's your evidence of a molten iron core deposited by a planet smashing into us at a glancing blow and its debris forming the moon. That's your evidence. It feels hot,
Yes.
man.
Yes, that's exactly why.
That's as good as the globe standard, I suppose. If you can draw it into a
Right.
diagram.
When it becomes really hot, then everything that's associated with heat somehow in the heliocentric model becomes real. Because
You need to draw a diagram of it, Arwin. Picture of the molten iron core with arrows going up and then the word hot. There you go.
Yep.
It's proof positive.
What would John say, refractive curvature, to that question, Nathan?
You're going to need R for that.
Yeah.
Any
Do
single
you feel
viable
cold today?
Say again?
Do you feel cold today, Nathan? Fuck.
I still didn't catch it,
Yeah.
Sasha. One more time. One more time, Sasha.
I said, do you feel cold today? It's 38 outside.
I don't know. I just feel hot. I don't know about feeling a core. It's very hot today here in the UK and across Europe, for that matter. So yeah, it's very, very hot here. Hotter than ever, in fact. Anyway, moving on from the molten iron core and Arwin's evidence that it's hot currently, proving the molten iron core not in the slightest bit But there we go. Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
Yes, molten iron core causes heat.
I don't know if that either. How is that, other than the story of Thea, how is that cosmology or anything as such? It's just part of the story. It doesn't even link to the heat bit.
Yeah, but they have models of other planets out there that also have cores, and they base those models on the molten iron core here. So I think you could call it an astrological or
The question is viable hypothesis, which requires testing, experimentation. Could they do that with something in the sky? Can they go there? Can
Right.
Well, it's worse than that. It's viable scientific hypothesis. So it's not just any old hypothesis. It's a scientific hypothesis.
But to summarise what's going on here, we're contextualising because Armin's obviously disseminated into fast, which is fine. But the globe, the heliocentric model, comes with an assertion of scientific validity. Yeah? So earlier in the pre-show, we had Jen Panda going, where are your peer-reviewed papers? What he's basically saying is, I've got science on my side. That's what that assertion means. Now, in reality, there aren't any viable hypotheses, let alone scientific experimentation that's been validated, to go alongside the claim of a sphere. There's no scientific evidence for it. So we ask not only for scientific evidence, we don't even ask for that. Our standards are lower than that. We ask for a viable hypothesis, the bit before experimentation. And long before theory, I might add. But there isn't any for the globe. That's why we ask on a daily basis. It's not just a stupid question. People in the street will stroll up to you and say that they've got peer-reviewed papers claiming it's a sphere, aka I've got science on my side. Well, where's your scientific validity? Where's your viable hypotheses? Where's your experiment to show we're on a sphere? There isn't one. Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon, and I'll expand on it before anybody answers, to say that there is an assertion by the globe that the sky is a vacuum. In violation of natural law, gas pressure expands to fill its volume. The gas pressure we are breathing would expand into that vacuum if the sky, that's outer space, was real. It isn't. The sky is not a vacuum. You require containment to develop gas pressure, and we're breathing it. Ergo, space is fake. Is there any evidence that you can have, as asserted in the heliocentric model, gas pressure without containment?
well, containment
Space-time,
or
Nathan,
limited
space-time.
available volume, right?
Sorry,
I think it
space-time...
would work.
Hold on, I've got an answer for Armin. Sorry, do you want to expand on that? Boom, boom.
Yeah, I remember we talked about this a long time ago, how time moves, slower at your feet than it does at your head, or no, vice versa. Yeah. So it's that differential in time that is causing the pressure differential here on Earth. So it's a direct correlation. As time speeds up as you go up, the pressure decreases. Perfect correlation. So there you
Time
go.
is a description. It's a
Yeah.
conceptual idea of how things move forward through the fabric of time. That conception isn't a physical reality that you can show me. You can't show me time. Likewise, to juxtapose that for somebody to digest it as conceptual, if I describe how the time dilation occurs when traversing wardrobes, you would appreciate that that is a bastardization of a conception that is time. Because time doesn't dilate or bend or in any way change when you traverse the wardrobe. And likewise, when you traverse space-time, a fourth dimensional mathematical description, it's just strike that. We don't traverse conceptual mediums. Therefore, the conception, description of how time interacts with my feet versus my head is nonsense. It's also a reification fallacy. Because concepts
Okay, we're
don't
going
physically
different.
do things. That's a reification fallacy, Paul. So no.
Okay, let's go in a different direction then. Okay, you got me there. Well, space curves more towards the ground than it does up in space. So it's the curve of space that is the cause of pressure differential.
If you're going to move from the fourth dimensional space-time into the Euclidean 3 space of length, breadth and depth, you're saying that the dimensions we describe things in, physical terms, length, breadth and depth, that conceptual grid bends. Is that what you've just said? Because you've moved from 4 space to 3 space and said it bends.
That's what I've been told. Space bends. It curves less or more towards the ground than it does up in outer space. It curves less.
Sorry,
So,
no. So now you've moved back into 4 space time bending. No, that's a conceptual medium described in the mind's eye of Einstein as length, breadth, depth, and time, and the fabric thereof bending as a result of the uneven distribution of mass, whatever the hell they're describing mass as. But either way, that's a conceptual medium that's bending. No, that's not physical reality. Back in circles, it seems, Paul.
Okay. That bad.
Any more on gas pressure without a container? Space is fake. You can't have gas pressure without a container. The assertion that the sky is a vacuum is a violation of natural law. Second law of thermodynamics, entropy law. Gas fills space. It expands in all directions and we're breathing it. Therefore, it would expand into space because it's a space for gas to fill. And we're breathing gas, so therefore outer space is fake. Let's just get absolutely nailed down. For anybody who might suggest that it's a silly question, to ask if you can even achieve gas pressure without containment, as is claimed by the globe with its outer space sky vacuum and us at pressure without anything containing it? Nonsense. Moving on. Any evidence you can acquire an elevation angle measurement to perform functional navigation from a curved baseline, that's a sphere Earth surface?
No. For another. Oh, go on. Sorry. Go on.
Nobody was interrupting you.
It was just feedback then. No. The baseline of an elevation angle has to be horizontal. Mariners use the sea surface as their horizontal. So that means the sea surface has to be horizontal. So there's no way the Earth could be curved if mariners can measure thousands of miles using mean sea level, and this is basically the sea surface, as the horizontal baseline. It's impossible. So no, you can't get an elevation angle off a curved surface because you can't. You won't ever have a 90, so you don't know what your elevation is.
Perfect. That concludes the housekeeping questions. Right on cue. Adam's now out on the streets of Nottingham, getting an excellent view of everyone's shoes, which is what we need. Don't know if you can hear us.
I'm just having a laugh with people.
So he's there with quite a few,
going off.
few known names,
I just
right?
thought. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm
we can.
talking through you. Sorry, Adam. Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, it's just heating up a little bit. Dave's having a good few chats. Building crew over there having a good natter. He's to use the old pool ball analogy. Why is it if everything else is round, the Earth has to be round when he looks up? But I thought I'd introduce the Spurs if you wanted.
So we've got Spurs chemo out in Nottingham today, along with Adam.
Check out that T-shirt.
What's it say?
Nice. All right. Just say hello, guys, up front to Flat Earth Debate. And then this is the money winner, because we've hopefully had some super chats on Spot Spurs. For some reason, mate, that people want to know what your gorgeous face looks like. So.
Down this way.
Yeah, well, I'll keep following. Yeah. No, do you want to say hello?
You alright, guys? How's it going?
Yeah, he'll shout back.
Can you put him on camera while his mouth moves?
Can I what?
Put him on camera while his mouth is moving.
I won't be able to hear them then.
All right, mate. There.
They're not sure.
Spurs.
Hello, Spurs.
Hey, how's it going?
Very well, Spurs. Good to have you. You debated with anybody today yet, or have you just got there?
Yeah, I've had a discussion with this one guy down here who thinks they went to the moon, and I'm just trying to get that through with him. So, yeah.
Tell him outer space is fake. Gas pressure without a container
I
isn't
have been
possible.
telling him that space is fake. He's not having it there. We should go and have a listen. We can go and have a listen. Look.
We're going to head down now, yeah? Head down. I'll spin the camera again.
Spurs chemo, ladies and gentlemen.
see what I can find.
So yeah, so Adam's out on the streets of Nottingham. So far he's been chatting with Gem Panda, that was obviously Spurs. The regular crew out on the Globe Lite tour. Broadcast daily currently on the Jason of the Disbury Family channel. So I'll do that with that line on mute. So subscribe today to Jason of the Disbury channel, which is Disbury Family, where this is going out live. So just check him out.
That is going out live with better sound, I think. So
Your sound's good if you're close enough. Adam,
a few lads to take the piss. Yes, mate.
can you just, for our benefit, I'm going to put you right on the spot, I'm really sorry. Can you collar a couple of them that aren't listening to this guy and just ask them a couple of housekeeping questions? Just see how you get on. I know you're going to have to be brave and take charge and all that. Just be confident.
Yeah.
Ask that dude, the guy with the bottle of water, blue t-shirt.
Yeah. Hi guys, we're streaming live on YouTube. I wonder if it'd be possible just to ask you a question or two. They're in front of you. Is there anyone you'd fancy a go at? You think you know? Okay, so which one's question is that? Question 2. Any evidence of Earth-based axial rotation? So you're saying a light in the sky going above your head proves you're spinning? The ISS? Yeah? Right, I'm not debating that, but it's up there moving, isn't it? And you're down here moving, you're saying. But what do you feel? Do you feel any movement? No, but you can see that moving.
Yeah, but if you turn 100th of a degree a second, you also wouldn't feel it.
Wouldn't I? I wouldn't feel it. Wouldn't notice it. Wouldn't feel the change. Am I moving at 100th of an inch a second?
Yeah, I'm going to offer you a counter to that, right? Let's just say we're moving at 1 degree a minute or 1 degree an hour, 5 degrees an hour. Let's just say that.
Big round page, mate.
Would it make any difference to you if you were the spindle of the clock or at the extension of the arm of the clock? Would it make any difference to what you felt in terms of that journey?
Just imagine you imagine the center of the hand space. Yeah. Because it matters whether at the very end of the hand. Yeah.
So if you were at the very center, then it would move very slowly for you. It would take an hour or a whole day if you were 12 hours to turn around, right?
Yeah, but it will take 12 hours no matter where you are on the hand.
Agreed. However, if I'm standing in the spindle, the air resistance and the movement is very small. But if I'm standing at the end of a 4,000 mile minute hand, the resistance and the air movement would be different. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, so when people talk about the angular change of the globe, they always forget that they're taking it from the spindle rather than from a 4,000 mile arm of that clock. And at the 4,000 extension, it may only be a tiny amount, but the winds associated with moving 1,000 miles in an hour, very different from moving just a tiny little bit in an hour if you're in the spindle, right? Right, but that's where your example, that's where your claim fails, because you are not the spindle in the globe. You are actually on the outside. What I say in electromagnetic theory, is that you actually are the spindle.
Okay, before he goes into his own magnetic theory, very good argument. So what he's basically said is the rim velocity would be increased as you go to the outside edge of a spinning ball Earth. Now, the outside edge of a spinning ball Earth is claimed to move at 1,000 miles an hour. Therefore, it has a rim velocity of 1,000 miles an hour. You'd notice if you had a rim velocity of 1,000 miles an hour. Further to that, as he's suggesting, as you move to the outside edge of a roundabout, you end up feeling the force more as you get to the outside edge. And he's saying you'd see the same effect, you'd feel the same effect, you don't feel any of it. He went along straight off Adam's argument, which is excellent. But there we go. So that was that argument. Very well done. Not bad at all.
Let me put you some numbers on that, yeah? So, because you were saying about a quarter of an inch a second or so, 1,000. Yeah, I know. So, if the Earth was a ball, then let's just take the equator, because it means we're using an ISO value, which keeps the rotation. Then you'd be moving at 1,000 miles an hour. That would be your edge rim velocity. Do you think you'd feel 1,000 miles an hour? So, can you see the difference in what you thought you were experiencing at 1,000? of an inch a second to 1,000 miles an hour.
But again,
So now your vestibular system should pick it up, shouldn't it?
Yeah, but again, it's.
You're saying you'd be able to feel if the Earth is moving.
I'm saying.
Since we can't, that means it's flat.
No, I'm saying that relates to rotation, doesn't it? So his claim was, is the Earth rotating? He said yes. So I'm saying, I don't believe it's rotating either. That's the point. I'm saying that the evidence. Yes, that's one reason.
Right, so do you think Mars is also flat?
No, Mars is a light in the sky.
Right. So since a Mars rover is also on Mars, if it could feel the rotation, it would
Mars.
thrown off the
Okay.
orbit. Give me a sec. So if the Mars rover was made to have to resist any of that, we weren't made to resist any of that because we can't feel it simply because, you know, if we could, things wouldn't be able to be alive on the planet. With gravity, would have to be a lot stronger to keep us on here. But it's the perfect strength to fight against the rotation. That's just how planets work.
That's how planets work. Okay. So where this planet is, where is it? How do you get to this planet? No, Mars, you said. And where is it? How do you get there? Where? In space, yeah?
Yeah.
So you believe in the vacuum of space? Do you believe in the vacuum of space? That space is a vacuum?
Well, it's not. It's a space-time space.
It's
Space-time. Sort of vacuum. Well, it is what it is.
well, it's 10 to the minus 13 torr, isn't it?
Yeah.
So like 1 atomic molecule per cubic meter. So basically a perfect vacuum. Yeah?
Okay. Oh, if you're on about like the lack of anything in space.
So I'd like to just bring you to this question, okay, which is any evidence of the vacuum of space? So how do you have gas pressure without a container? Because you just talked to me about where all these things prove your viewpoint, but I'm saying to you that this place that you're saying it's all happening is a physical impossibility. It's a violation of the second law of thermodynamics. You can't have gas pressure without containment. Any gas pressure. What's containing them?
Gravity.
Gravity. And how does gravity contain things?
It's got a pull.
It's got a pull. So if we explore the behaviour of gas, yeah, where within gas pressure is the effect of gravity expressed?
Where does gas go down, go boom, boom?
Described.
Random directions.
Based on the last collision. Yeah, there's no downward bias then, is there, through a gas collision?
There is. A tiny.
No, there isn't. There. Could you provide some evidence for that? A problem?
If you're going to talk about space in general, you understand that not everything's proven, things are still being studied. Even a lot of theories that you'll believe in, even a lot of theories that I'll believe in, aren't proven, can't be proven.
That's fantastic. I totally agree with you. And that's what we're highlighting to you. It's exactly what we're highlighting.
That's what I think. Everyone is allowed to have their own beliefs, which is why I will never argue with you. I don't want to argue with you.
I don't want to argue with you, just share some knowledge.
I don't want to, because we have to get back.
Okay, darling.
My boots are made of leather, and I want to go inside.
It was a pleasure talking to you. Have a great day, guys.
Excellent. Right. That's another level standard right there. So kudos to Adam. That was absolutely fantastic, right? That's a Flat Earth Debate team member out on the streets asking a guy how you can have gas go down, go boom, boom. That's right, because he had a reasonably coherent knowledge of the heliocentric model, which took him to the assertion that gas is pulled down by gravity. Gas go down, go boom, boom. Nope. Well done, Adam. That was excellent.
Cheers, guys. I see everybody's trying to get home. We're going to wrap up at 4, I think, because it's just... I mean, I've never seen Nottingham so dead, so...
Yeah, it's like
we'll probably
midday
hang on for a few hours. What time are we on?
Well, I'm going to stay on for another live half an hour.
Cool.
But then that's probably going to be it, because it's so blisteringly hot in this room right now. Not that my audience cares about my comfort level, but there we go.
Give me 5 or 10 minutes. I've got to get my son out the phone again. I'm going to grab a drink, and then I'll drop back in.
That's perfect. Thank you so much. You're doing a wonderful job, by the way, Adam. Kudos.
Cheers. I was a bit nervous. It was like I was thinking, oh.
I knew you would be. That's why I put you on the spot when there was an opportunity, and I could see there was one, because you've got a camera out. So, having the pressure to just do it there and then. That guy, just do it, and you did wonderfully. Thank you so much. That was ace. Live.
Run. So anyway, brilliant. Right, see you in a bit, guys.
See you in a bit. Thank you, Adam. So that was live on the streets, live from Nottingham, live on air on YouTube. Adam's an absolute legend. Absolutely brilliant.
He was incredible. That was so good. I mean,
yeah.
Kudos to Adam.
Epic stuff.
Good timing too, right at the end of the housekeeping questions. This is going to be a good live show. I can feel it already. Hey, everyone from Discord, did you all enjoy that? Yeah, Nathan, because we're going to keep the vibe of the show going. Great, I'm glad you're all so enthused by that.
Loved it, Nathan. Loved it.
That Darth stereotype is so true. So we had a guy take the mickey out
Which
of us
one?
and parody us by taking the concept that we do here, Flat Earth Debate, and flipping it on its head and making it Globe Earth Dictate. And they've changed all the characters' names. So Arwen became Legolas, I became Ethan Woodley, etc., etc. And Snoozing Warrior, Sleeping Warrior, Snoozing Soldier. Anyway, the list goes on. But one of the things that would happen during Globe Earth Dictate was he'd go to Discord and then there'd just be tumbleweeds when there's a real appropriate moment for to get a response in any form. And there'd be silence, and it'd say at the top of the Discord, participants 16,920. You get silence from it. But it's just
Yeah,
like
I love that.
uncharacteristically Discord. If you watch any show on YouTube that has a Discord link, and they ever introduce the Discord link, it's audio chaos almost instantly, especially if there's more than 2 or 3 people in their Discord server, which there typically is. So, from that, which is your typical idea of, oh, they're going to introduce Discord, prepare for the audio chaos of the public. Whereas on our Discord server, people intentionally keep silent at the wrong moments, which is amusing, but by the same token, parody-worthy.
Hey, is Nathan, is that guy still around that does the Globe Earth Dictate?
I don't think so, because
Darth?
I've certainly not seen anything from him, unfortunately.
I will not be a panel member until he does a spoof on me.
Well, go on then, get lost.
Yeah, go in.
Not a legit panel member.
Okay.
You
I was
will
thinking
probably
about
be
that the
cousin
other day.
Vinny in his next skit, so.
So, well, we've got a little lull.
Hey, Nathan,
Oh, go on. Go on,
Nathan, I've got a side topic, just a quickie. Remember, I think it was probably been a few weeks ago, where this guy named Alex Stein came in, and he trolled in here a little bit.
Yeah, I do.
Did
Yeah,
you hear when that happened?
I run the show. Yes.
Well, I just dropped a link in Master B on YouTube. He was actually in he was on an alternative news show called Timcast. I don't know if you've heard of him. So mainly here in the U.S. He's kind of like middle left in his political leanings. Timcast is, but Alex Stein was on there making arguments for the flat Earth and going against that, saying the moon landings was not real and all this stuff. Thought you guys might appreciate that. He didn't specifically quote your channel, but the fact that he was in here and then he's on an alternative news network talking about it, just thought that might be interesting. Just a side note.
Alex Stein's been all over the place. He's like really getting himself out there. Like I see him constantly. So, yeah.
He's also being called a shill constantly by Russian vids.
Right, which is a good sign. Because if he
Good sign.
wouldn't, then I'd be worried.
Well, here's the thing: if you watch this interview, it's about 25 minutes or so. He doesn't sound like a shill. I mean, unless he's put on a good act.
They
But
never
you guys
do.
can make the determination yourself.
That's just what they want you to think. Cool. Yeah, shout out to Alex Dean if he's doing a good job. I remember a quote from DITRH, the real Dearth, and somebody was interviewing him, and they were talking in this particular tone about Eric Dubay. They're saying, look, he's clearly CIA, government-controlled shill. How can you possibly promote this shill? And Dearth's response was, if he's a shill, give me 20 shills. Because he's out there talking about what I talk about. He's talking about flat Earth. Do I align with him on everything? Obviously not. There's plenty I disagree with. This is DITRH, I'm paraphrasing a lot of what he said. But if he's a shill, give me 20 more just like him. Because what's he doing? He's promoting this subject matter to the masses in a more effective way than I am. At the time, Dearth was smaller. I don't know if he still is, probably not, than Eric Dubay. Well, it's like, yeah, that's my attitude. If Alex Stein is out there talking about flat Earth, there's a reasonable chance that as an interaction with Alex Stein goes on to open someone's horizons to that subject, they might come across me. So give me 20 more of him if he is a shill. That is, I'm not suggesting he is, but certainly he is being suggested as being a shill by Russian bids every time he does anything of note. And again, I'm not knocking Russian vids either. You know, call him out all you like. More power to you, mate. But there we go. You know, that's just the situation as it stands with Alex Stein. And if he's getting out there, good on you, mate. You're doing more than I am in that regard.
Right. If there's only one shill in this field, it is Russian vids. I mean, like he would have to be almost at this point.
Well, I think we need to revisit what a shill is. I think sometimes we kind of say it, but we forget what it was. Well, it was the guy back in the day that would be standing outside of a store. But he was paid by the store to praise the thing that they're trying to sell, and it would get other people interested in the topic or interested in the product that they were selling. So I think we need to just remember what a shill is. It's actually, if the government if he's a shill for the government, then it's the government saying that we need to look at this thing. We need to look at this subject, this topic. So it's actually that's actually a compliment. We should say, okay, this is a compliment. They're telling us to question things.
Exactly. To follow on from that, Paul, there's been plenty of people in the comments that have been saying similar things. This seems more and more like the government want us to know about this, that it is actually a controlled release, that they are tolerating it. And I've seen other comments where they're questioning how I'm allowed to get away with what I do on this show. I think the comment, to be a bit more concise, if you want to credit yourself for it in the next comment section, was something along the lines of, how is Nathan and team allowed to get away with so concisely debunking the globe on a daily basis if it's not tolerated by the government shills or the government whatever? That's paraphrasing, but it's close enough for the person to have written it to know who they are in that regard to that comment. But yet there's a general sentiment that I've always sort of sat on the fence with, but aired throughout the Flat Earth debate, that it does seem that way. There's no evidence whatsoever other than my bloody gut feeling, which means nothing. And the comments I get from other people's gut feelings when it comes to this sort of stuff. And you in this regard, Paul. But yeah, it does. The arrows do sort of indicate that. I don't know if that's actually the case or not. Who knows? But there we go. It's an interesting topic. I do want to shout out one of my Patreons just before I run out of live show. I know we're slap bang in the middle of it, or just gone past the middle of it now. But one of my Patreons got in touch, and he's an artist. And when he said that, I was like, oh, my oldest daughter's doing art at the moment. And when I'm talking to her about how life will evolve, you know, one of those things and jobs and careers was kind of along the lines of the vein of work that this guy's branched into. So this is Fiber Oats. I'm just going to bring up his what is it, Etsy? I think it is Etsy. So it's Einstein's Cousin Art is the name of the Etsy page where you can go and check out some of this artwork that's up for sale. But this guy's branched into doing this. And he was like, contacted me and said, oh, I don't know how to promote it, but once I've got an online shop, I'll give you the details and maybe you can promote it a bit or whatever. And I was like, well, have you got a means of actually showing it people now? He has. This is what he's got, Etsy, which I spoke to my wife about, and she said, yeah, it's very reputable, which is great. So I was like, yeah, I'm more than happy to promote it. So I'm going to stick a link in the live stream chat. If nothing else, just go and have a look at this stuff. Check it out on behalf of one of my patrons. I'm very grateful for his support, and if nothing else, hopefully I can support him by at least getting his information out there so you can go and have a look. And should he develop an actual online shop of his own, I'll promote that as well. So that's Fiber Oats. You've probably seen him super chatting. Definitely a fond supporter of Flat Earth debate, and I like to return it in kind. Some of the images are on screen now for you to peruse and enjoy. But that's it. Go and check out his Etsy shop. Fiber Oats. Thank you so much, Fiber Oats, for supporting me.
Shout out to Fiber Oats. It's a good guy.
Absolutely.
Fiber Oats.
The other one, while we're on the subject, that I do want to get to, is another one of my supporters who sort of asked me how he could help me support getting the show, in other words, this information generally, out to the public in a more broad way. And one of his suggestions, although I can't find the damn thing now, I'll find it as I'm talking, hopefully, was a page or a room or whatever you call it in Discord for Divergent Droid, where if he's in this particular room and I happen to be perusing Discord, I'll join him and chat about this stuff. But hopefully as a means of having a place to go to talk about how we can expand the promotion of not just this show, but the themes and subject matters that we cover, that absolutely without question we don't get promotion from the internal means of the platforms that we peruse and put our material out on. Therefore, sort of outside the box thinking's required, and although I can't find the damn room right now, that's so frustrating. It's in there somewhere. It's called Divergent Droid's Room. I just can't see it on my 4K monitor. Either I'm blind or I just can't see the damn thing. But it's definitely in there in this Discord server. So there we go. So that's a shout out to it. I'm really sorry I can't find the damn thing. If I was better prepared or it was less hot, I'm sure I'd find it quicker. But I just can't see the damn thing. I'll have one last look. Scrolling up and down. No, I can't see it. But it is definitely in there. Anyway, that's Divergent Droid's channel.
Droid, is it? Divergent Droid?
Yeah, I can't see the actual, what do you call it?
Discord room.
I can't see the Discord room. I've scrolled up and down it 3 times and I just cannot for the life of me see it. I know it's there. I saw it the other day. Betty let me know after I spoke to her. She's like, I'm way ahead of you. I've already done this room when I asked her. So I know it's there. I went and had a look. I could see it. Now I can't see it. Oh, well. Anyway, maybe it's got a new name.
Well, shout out to Divergent Droid. He's another good guy.
Someone will contact me and tell me where it is because I can't see the damn thing. Anyway, I'm going to chat out a few super chats. Refracted Curvature's joining, so we'll say hello to John. Hello, John.
Hey, how you doing?
Hello. Shout out to Jardo, who says how Adam did with his eyes horizontal is beyond me. How Adam did that with his eyes horizontal is beyond me, says Jardo. I don't quite understand, but it's very hot here.
I think he means how did Adam not turn his eyes to the sky with the nonsense he was hearing?
Oh, how didn't he roll his eyes? Yes, it's hot. It's hot. Thank you very much, Jardo, for the super chat. Also, Mike808, who says, bravo, Adam. Wonderful job. I completely agree. It was an absolutely superb job by Adam. And I was craving for it too. I'm sure we all were, because we'd seen bits and bobs broadcast. And I wanted to see one of our own do it, right? And Adam's there, and I'm like, you've got the camera. There's a guy standing looking at the questions. Get in there. And he did us proud. Oh, I'm so chuffed. The day's a good day. Thank you very much indeed, Mike808. I echo that sentiment.
Nathan, check out John's new logo that Adam made. Refracted curvature.
Okay. On screen
And the
now.
reason you couldn't find that guy's channel is because he renamed it to Project Text or Project Voice or something like that.
Project something. I saw that vaguely and quickly. Project something. Let's find it. Oh, God, I hope the show doesn't end up with me just searching up and down the Discord server constantly looking for one thing. FED Community Project. Is that it? Hold on, whoever's talking. Is it FED Community Project?
Yes.
Perfect. Oh, so glad you joined. Okay, so FED Community Project is Divergent Droid's renamed room. And you can join that. It's got a voice chat room. And if you leave a comment in there in the project text to say, I'm around at this time, I've got an idea, or this is my idea, just go and bung it in that text chat. So project text in FED Community Project. And that is ideas for how to get the word out. So, for example, if 5 years ago you went, I know, we could go on tour in a van and talk to the people of Nottingham, and I bet Jem Panda would come. There you go. So, like your logo. John? Refracted curvature?
Sorry, I'm having some speaker trouble.
Okie dokie. Well, there it is anyway, so the audience can see it. Very nice. Adam made you that. So I assume it was Adam.
Attitude problems, I'd say now, is Adam.
Dropped. Let's hope that doesn't kill everything. As in the show and the enthusiasm level. We will hopefully have Adam back in the next 5 or 10 minutes before he vacates that absolutely blistering heat. So when he does.
I'm just in Wetherspoons now, grabbing a fruit juice and some ice. So
it wasn't a hint.
In a minute, but
it wasn't a hint. You enjoy, you get hydrated. There'll be no pressure next time you're out. Promise.
See you in a bit.
Yeah, it'd be a bit unreasonable if I got him to confront some random stranger again, or 2 random strangers. But that couldn't have gone better, really. I'm sure you'll all agree. You know, got to gas, go down, go boom, boom. You can't really take that argument any further. Once it's descended into gas, go down, go boom, boom. You're as thick as Thunderfoot PhD at that point, if you keep arguing it. He didn't. They excused themselves. That's the right point to leave. What's that? Gas expands in all directions. No, gravity pulls it down. Can you show me it going down? I'm going to go. Bye. See you later. Thanks for your time.
Right, he wasn't gonna bring up the puddles of helium.
I wanted to shout that, but it was so tempting, Arwin. You and I are of like mind. I really, while the lady friend of the chap that was really having the full or the majority of the conversation piped up, it was so tempting to say, ask him about gas puddles. Go on, ask him about. But it's you've got to let Adam do what he's doing. He knows when to excuse the conversation. They were clearly itching to leave, and the female was getting more and more agitated. You could see it, and accusing Adam of being confrontational. It's like, no, at that point you excuse yourself, and they did. Couldn't have been a better ending, really.
Yeah, it was wise for her to step away. She could have gotten like really triggered. She was looking like she was gonna go at it if it continued.
Yeah. Plus, Adam earlier was when he was on the show defending Dave, the guy who was talking about his chakras, was keen to say, no, in certain circumstances you've got to read the person that you're actually communicating with there and there, as though it's one-on-one and there isn't 150 live people in the entire city centre. That's a bit deserted because it's hot. Listening to the conversation, it's just you and them. And Adam read that. He couldn't have done better. So the fact that he was preaching it and he's out there and acting it out there and then in the moment live in many different ways, you got to really hand it to him.
Arwin,
What?
can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Were you just moaning Arwin off mic? Did you think we couldn't hear you?
Jem was triggered for everybody. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, he was. He was asking why they were so angry as well, which I thought was perfectly ironic. It's like, why are you so angry? You're the only one who's angry here.
Yeah, he was the only one angry there. And that last back and forth with Adam and the young couple there was perfect, because up to a certain point, they had ears to hear, eyes to see. They were open to go back and forth. The minute the question came that they didn't really feel comfortable, hey, we got to go, it's too hot. And Adam very graciously said, okay, nice talking to you. Thank you for your time. Jim Panda, what did he do? Just come there and be a troll and angry, and no one's like, he didn't know to say, oh, you don't want to hear me be angry? Oh, okay, let me go to somebody else who does.
Send Quasimodo back to the castle.
So, plus he suggested that the questions on the table or on the pavement were stupid. And it's like, you came and asserted that the Earth curve, edge, horizon, physical and geometric wouldn't bend one way rather than the other. So you're out here on the street making these claims, and we're questioning the claims. But because you're not allowed to just bark them at people, they become stupid questions when we ask you to prove that the Earth curve, edge, horizon, you say bends one way or the other, would be at 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. And it's not. Black Swan, 2020 argument. Jem Panda's well aware of it, and it makes him angry. Angry enough to go out to the street to preach his sphere belief and the doctrine of being able to dictate it to people without any challenge. Because if you challenge it in the form of the questions, it's just us not asserting our claim and defending it. It's us strawmanning us globe believers with questions about our claims that we want you to just accept. What an outrage.
See how they're more dangerous than we are.
That's why he's going to be segregated in our pond. He just doesn't realise it yet. He's stuck here with us. Like in that, I've forgotten which superhero movie it was, but they lock up Rorschach in it, and he's in prison with all these other jailbirds, and they're all threatening him and being very aggressive towards him. And at the point that he ends up fighting with them, he explains that you're not trapped in. I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me. Well, that's how it is
Wolverine?
with the. I don't know which one. It doesn't matter. The point is that they are trapped here with us in this pond, separated because they're just as dangerous as we are when it comes to their non-adherence to the religious doctrine of heliocentrism. They are heretics, therefore dangerous. Therefore, bundle them in the pond with us and let us argue amongst ourselves away from the rest of the Western world.
Did Shamalama Gamma Panda Ding Dong Retard show up at the where Adam was?
Yeah, we caught quite a fair chunk of it live. It was great.
Is it on this show?
It's on the pre-show. Become a Nathan Oakley 1980 member, and you'll see it as soon as this live show ends, or when the after show ends.
Yeah, you're trying to say that with a straight face. All right.
Say what with a straight face?
That was fun.
So which bit?
What was his argument?
His argument that the curve of the Earth wouldn't bend one way at altitude, i.e., left to right. That was his position. Also, it's just a lot of attacks about people not being allowed to question the heliocentric doctrine. How dare they, was the general sentiment.
He still thinks the horizon's Earth curve.
Did his fleet of slobber nurses accompany him?
Yeah, that's not too far from the truth, so careful. Have you seen him? He's quite a frail-looking chap.
I can only judge off what comes out of his incoherent blowhole, and it's retarded. Everything that ever came out of his mouth.
Well, you can tune into the pre-show if you're a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member already. And you can see it with Adam challenging it and having a little chuckle. Being very calm, cool and collected while Gem Panda got very angry on the streets and started barking like a crazy person.
I'll wait for the book.
Got the obligatory Liars t-shirt. Getting a little tour at the moment of the, quite literally the streets. got the pavement. This is what it looks like here in England. It's beautiful. I lie. It's the street art. Tell a lie.
You know what's great was the housekeeping questions went to the street, and it's just that live back and forth is so great.
Yeah, it was a treat today. It really was.
Yep, great show.
Appropriate too.
For only Nathan Oakley channel members.
Yeah, and the people who were here to actually experience it live as it happened, as live when it gets played out.
Sorry, I was sleeping.
Yeah, you could have been here. You missed Gem Panda. I'm sure you're absolutely heartbroken. There's our banner with all the housekeeping questions laid out for people to peruse.
Malformed questions, he said.
Malformed? Any evidence you can have gas pressure without a container? That's not a malformed question.
That's what Jem said.
Well, he also said that question.
Sorry.
Nathan, say that one question, housekeeping.
Any evidence you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon?
Oh, that's malformed. How do you expect these citizens walking on a hot day to even? I mean, you guys are ridiculous.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's exactly what he said.
But that is the length of the appeal in that regard, because he was also asked if he had answers to the questions. He said, "There's been videos on YouTube making answers to these questions." It's like, really? That sounds like the most distanced answer you could give. Couldn't you just answer them? Was the response to Adam from Adam? No, he didn't.
You got to do is get 2 containers, and then you say that's gas pressure without a container.
So what? Net container 0. 2 containers equals no container.
Yeah, it's just simple algebra. You put 1 container on one side of the equation, 1 container on the other side of the equation, and then you can cancel them out through algebraic expression.
I see. It's all in the maths, you see. So if you want net
So what's
fish,
a mathematically negative container? How would you calculate that?
like anything else, right? If you've got 2 fish, yeah, you put it on paper as 1 fish plus 1 fish equals no fish. Yeah, net fish 0, obviously. There it is in the maths. So container plus another container equals no container, obviously. Shout out to Matthew Hall.
Ah.
And he says, and here's me thinking British street art meant monkey knife fights in the street. Flat is fact. Gotta say that. Rile up the ball model lovers. And then a mask-faced smiley. Thank you very much indeed, Matthew Hall, for the super chat.
So we were talking about net
question
container 0?
The question would be malformed if you were religious, is that what? Because you couldn't answer it.
Yeah, it's malformed if you can't give an answer.
The veracity of the question, right?
Sorry, I rumpushed you. Say again, 10th.
I said, just like John said there, attack the veracity of the statement and call it malformed because you can't answer it.
I was just shock projecting, right? That's called, like, he knows he's a freaking weirdo, and he's just using the word to shock you out of the argument. He's literally using his own appearance to shock you to get away from the failing argument. That's what he's doing. Guarantee it.
All questions are malformed.
It didn't have
if you can't
anything
answer
to
them.
do with a malformed question. Nothing about that made sense. So he just used the word to shock you.
Well, it's interesting. I gotta give him kudos for one thing. He showed up, and he showed up to somehow appease the pain he's going through, as we say, because he can't answer simple housekeeping questions. And then when housekeeping questions are making it outside of his domain to the public, he's got to go there and say, I can't allow these flat earthers to ask these questions. They're malformed. I can't answer them. How do you expect someone on the street to answer it? So I don't see any of his other minions following him. I mean, we're his disciples. He called us Nathan's disciples. What a joke.
Shut up, you Oakley disciple.
I can't believe he's survived the last 2 years. I just can barely believe it. Like,
No,
how did
it's-
he make it through?
If anything, it's Nathan and the Argonauts, not Nathan and the disciples.
What do you mean, how did he make it through? He's got a show that has all the rejects that were on Nathan's show that got destroyed. They all go over there. That's how he survives.
No, I'm not talking about YouTube success. I'm talking about him actually surviving in the real world.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, Jem is probably a pretty tough individual, as if you would take it from his appearance, he's probably had a pretty tough life. So you won't probably beat him down too easy. He'll be staunch. He'll be defiant.
But how about, like, you know, the medical shit? Like,
That's the third time you've done that. Hold on. That's the third time you've done it, Owen. So first 2 times I'll let you get away with it. What you disseminate or attempting to disseminate it into a really, really personal attack on him. Yeah, we're better than that. You don't need to do that. It's the 3rd time you've tried it. No one else has picked up on what you're trying to put down. Please drop it.
I don't like that, Arwen. I don't care what someone looks like.
No, but that has nothing to do with what he's looking like. That was just the projection in the moment thing. I think he does do that. Right?
Quasimodo.
He will go there. But that's not what this is about. This was about just...
Why are you doing that, Neil? Why are you hassling them? Why are you pointing out an obvious
was not
physical
me.
flaw? I know, I'm talking to Neil. Why are you pointing out an obvious physical flaw? Would you like to be...
Of course I can.
Yeah, but would you? Yeah, but what has that got to do with the argument? How does that? How does that elevate the show? That's a personal attack on his appearance. Anyone can be attacked on that. Most people can be attacked on, unless they look really fantastic. They can be attacked on their appearance. I mean,
right.
Let's be honest. It's nothing to do with the argument.
Right, but what I was saying the last time had nothing to do with his appearance. It's literally more his psychological stance, what he stands for. I'm not going to literally say the words because that is objectionable, but you should understand by now what I'm pointing at. Like,
you have to say it because I don't.
He believes in the ball. He believes in the system. I don't know how he made it through.
Hold on. Now he's reiterated it. I understand what his point is. What Owen's saying is, cognitively, from 2020 till now, has been a very tough time for your average ball-believing normie, but moreover, your anti-flat Earth heretic. It's been a very tough time. You know, they've relinquished their globe Earth geometry, the assertion he made about how much the horizon should bend when he was out in public. That died in 2020. And Owen's saying mentally, it's going to be tough on the old fella. Let's be honest. Now, if Owen's also then saying that is showing in his frailty, then maybe I'd allow that. That's almost tolerable because it links back to the cognition we describe and the pain that we describe mentally. Now, when Morpheus describes to Neo about the body not being able to live without the mind, that's where I see a connection that Arwen hadn't made in 3 attempts. Again, I'm just filling in the blanks to make this a bit more directly connected to the show and what we talk about. Well, in that case, if Arwen was suggesting that his frailty, and he did look very frail, was directly linked to the mental anguish, that I'd say fine, because the mental anguish is almost certainly as a direct result of losing globe Earth geometry, denying Coriolis drift and having it pointed out that they've been doing that for a number of years now. All of that kind of cognitive pain will build up. So while we're all smiles on a daily basis, That in and of itself is also going to cause mental pain, and he's aired that pain in public today. He really had aired that mental pain that we cause him. You know, we're like disciples of evil to him. Right, I mean, we don't generally, or I don't, I won't speak for all of you, give Jem any real consideration at any point in the day. But he's considering us daily, and he doesn't like it. Now me, if there's something that I don't like, I would steer away from it. Obviously, in this instance, like Cat's trying to get away from his previously connected to Flat Earth channels, you can't get away from it. You know the awful truth, Jem. You know it and we know it. It's just we're smiling about it and you're not. You're out in public shouting and ranting about it.
Nathan, allow me to apologize. He's not Quasimodo. He's the guy from 300.
That's just rough, man.
Yeah.
That's even worse.
You don't consider
Hey,
Jem
Brian.
Wait a second. Jem Panda is one of the dumbest people I think I ever heard. He argues like an incoherent schoolgirl. If you go to my Numpty clips, he's got his own wing on there. It's absolutely hilarious. It's a comedy show of Dunning-Kruger moron. I mean, he couldn't pass second grade right now. Mathematics, basic reasoning, introduction to science. He couldn't pass it right now. I'll guarantee it. Get his ass on there. I'll show you.
No, you're correct, but the big distinction between Quasimodo and the guy from 300 is that the guy from 300 was at least able to like normally communicate, while Quasimodo goes, right? And Jem Panda can at least like somewhat normally communicate. So I thought that.
So on that note, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for lowering the tone right at the end of this live show. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you in the live audience for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a member, hitting the thanks button and PayPal link and all that good stuff. If you're watching this after the fact, stay tuned because there's going to be an after show to follow. I've been Nathan Oakley and I'll see you all in the next video. Shout out to Divergent Droid for spamming Quantum Eraser's numpty clips at the end of the live show, so go and check out them if you're still here in the live show now. And also shout out to Jim West, who says Sweaty Oakley. Yes, thank you very much for pointing that out, Jim. Really appreciate the support.